is a show that never ever leave you the same way. And by that, I mean that I'll always leave you better than I met you. That's a promise that I come to this show with every Friday. If you have followed this brand for about 5 years, you know that this brand brings you value addition back to back to back to back. So we do this on Fridays at noon, lunch hour, to keep you company and to ensure that you start your weekend on a very, very, very great and tight note. You know that note where you're certain that you're having a beautiful weekend. I want to welcome you and say to you that this show has been brought to you by RCV, First Royal Character and Values Limited, with the huge partnership of Red Eye Studios. Big ups for Red Eye. I'll tell you a lot more about the services that this organization renders sometime during this show. And on that note, I want to welcome you once again and tell you that I'm not alone in the studio today. As usual, I have Timber, Caliber, Iroko, and Mahogany. I'm going to be introducing them. Now, someone is here for the first time, and he was hijacked, actually. You know, I like to say it as it is. He was hijacked, but I have no doubt that he's going to give a good account of himself and of his years of experience. Okay, so I have Mr. Akunle Oguremi with me. He is one of the chiefs in charge of business/product development for Red Eye Studios. We are so glad to have you.
Thank you very much, Mom.
You're welcome.
It's awesome to be here.
Yes, so we're talking politics today. We decided to bring him because we later found out even that that was what he went to go and read in school. And you know, when you read something in school, so today you'll be giving account of the money that was invested. Okay, so I'll tell you what the topic is. Don't you worry. Just keep it locked. And next on the set with me is Dr. Jara.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yes, our hair is looking really scintillating. Hot.
Oh, how are you? Welcome to the show.
It's been a rainy Friday.
Yes.
And I love the feel of the rain. But I can't say the same for people who have to not be at their work early because of it, or children who have to go to school cold. And I was telling some people this morning that why are you, all of you are wearing hoodie, wearing jacket, acting as if did we not just complain a while ago that there was heat, and then God sent the rains? Now we should just, with our full chest, we should receive it, you know. So, and if you are facing terrible traffic on account of this, just make sure that there's what I do when there's traffic. I go into what I call excursion mode.
Yes.
Do you know what excursion mode is? You just be eating, be buying something, be playing music, act as if you're on excursion. That's when you take the stress of traffic away. I am never bugged in traffic. I tell you the truth. I just put that mode on, activated. Alright, so welcome again to the show. And as you can see, Tony Lokpe is not on set today. He's unavoidably absent. Let's give you the simplest reason why he's not here. He's unavoidably absent. But Dorcas will be anchoring Character Lens. So you're welcome again to the show. On this show, we learn, we unlearn, and we relearn. So get ready for the best of time. Dorcas, Character Lens.
Okay. As much as story is not on this show, I'll try to start the way he does it. I will try. So, plenty things are happening in Lagos, Nigeria, all over the world. And on Character Lens, we bring you hot and very latest trends. So yesterday, I was in the car with the man that is unavoidably absent, Tolu. And on radio,
a radio faithful.
Very faithful. We were listening to radio on our way back to the office, and I heard a show anchor. He was narrating the story of a family, how that a couple that had been married for 4 years, they got the opportunity.
I didn't be married for 4 years.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
They got the opportunity to travel out of the country, but the man decided to stay back in the country with they have 2 girls, 2 female children. And the wife traveled out So she was there for a year and I think some 6 months. And the plan was the husband and the children would join her after a while. But things were not going according to plan. So the woman did her best to always call, checking on children, her husband, and like that. So one day she called the children and she discovered that they were not as lively, as excited as they would always be. So she tried interrogating, you know the way mothers can be. I
Tell me,
I was not there, I'm just trying to paint the scenario. So she entered the interrogation mode, what's happening? So she noticed it was consistent for like a month. So she decided to give a surprise visit and come back home. Because as the narrator was saying it on radio, he said, you'll be thinking that the man already has another wife at home, that's why the children. So the woman wanted to come and see with her eyes.
Oh, I even thought they said they gave her the gist over the phone.
No, she wanted to come and find out what was happening. So it was when she got home, the children she met only the girls at home, their father was not around. So it was when she got home, she was asking them, sorry for saying.
Please feel free.
What's happening?
Just interpret.
What is going on and all of that. And the children were very hesitant to actually tell the mother what was happening. So eventually the girls said their father was
having carnal knowledge of them.
Yes, that it was touching them in places he was not supposed to, and all of that. So the woman's head just stood in Yoruba. This translation. The woman's head did. And next thing she called family members, come and hear, everybody gathered in the house. And she finally called her husband, start coming in. So the man got home and he was very shocked and surprised. He kept saying he doesn't understand what was going on. He doesn't understand. Eventually, she found out that the girls were joking.
It wasn't immediately. That one is my own shock.
It was not immediately, actually.
Yeah, because I learned that out of anger, she left with them and left the husband in Nigeria.
I didn't even get that.
Took the children with her and
Literally, they divorced.
separation.
Okay,
Because there was no mutual, there was no court.
Oh, okay.
So she just left with them, according to the story. Then when they left, they were living the life in the Obodo where they were. Then later on she saw online, I hope that I have the stories right. They saw online that the man had remarried. But that was some 3 years after.
Wow.
And
Yes.
to my surprise, I was surprised though, the woman felt sad. That come and see girls, your father has remarried, he has moved on, blah blah blah. And it was that moment or around that time that they said, Ma, we want to tell you the truth.
3 years later.
Tell you.
That's
They had used the destiny of their father to catch kids.
no. I mean, actually,
I'm telling you.
Social service to carry them.
I mean, and then that what we told you that year wasn't true. I mean, I didn't know where to place that one inside my head.
honestly.
So we hear that the woman now said, what should she do? Well, on this show, our matter is not to tell her what she should do.
Exactly.
But we need to analyze the actions because this is mind your character. And it means that we want you to think of the consequence of your actions before you take them.
Yeah.
For you, Mr. Goremi, what did you expect you should have done? Okay, let's even say that it was true, that he was having carnal knowledge of them or touching them illicitly. What should she have done? In your own mind, though, because we are not inside our life.
We're not there.
So first,
Personally.
I don't have experience of marriage because I myself am not
Baba, you
married.
don't need that caveat
So,
now.
okay,
Nobody will. Oh, sister, please, in case you are watching, please, this is in public service work. The Baba is here, don't take it out today. See, oh yeah, I'll have cleared you. Go.
Okay, thank you very much. So first, if it was true, I think that separation is just the first step. Of course, they loved each other. They basically have stayed for a number of years.
Yeah.
I think a legal action should be taken against that man. If he was
Should
true,
that be immediate? Even if it was true, should that be the first thing?
I think if he was going to go legal, at a point those girls would have confessed, because there was going to be interrogations across different levels. And you see, the woman was just acting, you know, many times when we react based on emotion, we tend to suspend our intellect. So the woman obviously is not going to take it, because how would you be doing this with my children? How would you be doing this? And every other person, and you know Nigeria, every other person,
no, they even said she called an assembly. That she invited whoever to whom it may concern. All of them were available, and she did, you know, like, this is what is happening. And they said the man was shocked and like, I don't understand what you're saying. But you know the way you think that's how liars used to be.
Yes, that's the point.
Yoruba version say ma fa wa sínú ìdánwò. Gba wa lọ́wọ́ Bilisi. That was a Bilisi.
That's Bilisi. But I do think that it should be taken legally. Of course, they should ask those children. There's a whole lot of things to be done, because you basically have to. It's not just if somebody was doing something like that. If somebody was doing something like that, there's a way they could have actually asked
because
those children. I don't want to know.
What if the man had killed himself? Out of not having the confidence to move around anymore? What if he had gone the extreme, which is not, we don't advise it, we don't encourage it, but what if he had gone to the extreme? So is it now that the man would have been dead? The nurse are saying, what should I do? It was a lie, we found out.
To be honest, that man is actually very strong. I feel that man is very
strong.
To have even gone further to get married, because a little breakfast, you know, nowadays people can go like 6-7 years without even trusting other people. That one is like buffet.
In fact,
it's buffet.
It's a combo.
So I think, but if it actually happened like that, that woman, I don't know, because obviously she cannot sell those children. She cannot. They just have to reach out to that man because, and apologize.
A lot of people have been
and they move on. And they move on. That man cannot come back.
They shouldn't expect anything from him.
The man don't move on.
They shouldn't expect.
But the man will probably be living with that guilt up till that moment.
All of them. All of them. The woman,
yes.
The woman will live with the regrets of her actions.
Yes.
The children, because no matter how young, I learned they would have been in maybe like their early teens or whatever. Gen Z. This one Generation Alpha. This one not be Gen Z. Anyway, but that was it. We wanted to bring out the lessons there. Number one, you mentioned reacting based on emotions only. Emotions are real to us as humans. We're emotional beings. But the point of being emotionally intelligent is to be able to know when to let that hotness simmer before you take a decision. Because when you have taken a decision based on the rave of the moment or in a fit of rage, whatever, you might not be able to buy back the consequences, no matter how grievous they eventually become. So yes, for every one of us who have heard the story and we have even made ourselves counselors, I think the lesson is what we should take away. If it was you, what would you have done? And then there's a way learning helps us to be able to hold things when we have to go through similar things. So our own lessons here from what Mr. Aguremi said is mind moments when you have to take a decision and it's based only on emotions. Your heart will push you, but let your head always accompany your heart. Then you'll be sure you have a balanced view. Number two, always try to look at the end of what you're about to do before you take a step. Then I thought that there was a trust issue. I thought that there was a trust issue. Why do I think so? Your child tells you something. You should believe your children, yes? But where is the place of cross-checking with the man himself? Privately first. Before you go and loud it. If indeed that was what she did, because the story has it that immediately she assembled people and gave them the news and then took off. Trust for me was a lot. And you know, if you must do a distant relationship, think well. Yeah, because that's another twist to this. They would have been fine if they were just together drinking their gari But because there was distance, and the woman seemed to me again as somebody who is suspicious, like easily given to suspicion. Because you call your children and like, tell me the truth, or what's in the apple? Maybe it's all those kind of women that have told themselves that I don't trust any man, even the father of my children. Well, there are so many things that are behind the veil that we can't see. But we have to move on because this is just character lens, and we have to move on to the main session now. Thank you, Dorcas, for bringing that up. And now we are moving to the main chat for today, and that's what's wrong with playing office politics. Anything wrong with that? Have you ever played one? Are you a good player? Are you a striker? Be telling me on the left back.
Yeah, side midfielder, defensive midfielder, 5 central defender.
Okay.
Left back, right back.
I know there is one that look like left and back.
Left, right, left back.
So which one where do you play? Which angle? Do you call it angle?
Is it
wing.
Wing. Thank you. Yes. Which wing do you play when it comes to office politics? Do you think it's wrong? Do you think it's right? That's what we are here to answer today. And you know, there's a political science graduate, and someone who has also played the corridors. He needs to come inside here, not your corridor. He has found himself doing something around it. So yes, so from politics the way we know it to politics at home. So on my Facebook page, someone gave a response. A boss of mine back at the Punch said, there's politics everywhere. Politics in church, politics at home, politics everywhere. That's true. I mean, we cannot do anything against that. But how do you play your politics? Personally, I think that there's nothing wrong with office politics. What do you think?
Okay, thank you very much.
Before we get into, I think there's nothing wrong with it.
Office politics. There is usually a famous saying back in school that politics is ubiquitous. The word ubiquitous means everywhere, right? And Aristotle said man is by nature a political animal. So everybody actually
please, everybody, old pen and paper. Thank you.
We usually use that just to count other departments like political animal. So
know.
Most likely must have heard that.
He's like an art student who is always going around throwing the big vocabulary. What's the dictionary?
So everybody plays politics one way or the other. As far as you have to interact with other persons, there is politics. What we just finished discussing about that family is also political because it's a game of influence. We get to influence ourselves one way or the other. So politics is not wrong in any workplace, but politics can be dirty and politics can be very
Thank you. Yay. So you just I stopped at the fact that I don't see anything wrong with it. But I took it a notch further. The truth is there can be clean and dirty politics. That's why we're saying which wing do you play? Dirty wing, clean wing. Yes. What do you lose when you play dirty? And what do you gain when you play it clean? What does it mean to play clean? What does it mean to play dirty? If you are not aware of your environment, you are acting like you don't understand the need for politics. Politics involves you must know, you must be in the know so that you can be in the flow. Hey, word. Okay. So, but let's give you the definition of politics the way, office politics the way majority people know it. This is Mind Your Character, and on this show, we make you unlearn, learn, and relearn. So, there's something to unlearn, definitely. So, yes, what does Oxford Dictionary say?
Oxford Dictionary says, office politics are actions and behaviors involving competition for status or power in a workplace.
Yes. Competition.
Competition for status or power.
Actions and what?
Behaviors.
Behaviors. Yes. Body language, voice, all of that. You put everything together. So there's a competition. So how do people play dirty? What are the examples?
First one, backstabbing. Backstabbing a colleague. Going at the back and choking the person. Then another one is romance. They say people play office romance.
Very true.
And all of that. Another one is blackmail. And gossips. You do that through gossiping and blackmail. Another one is hypocrisy or eye service. Another one is forming malicious alliances against other colleagues.
Igbimo.
A clique of people that always look for trouble everywhere.
Okay.
And the last one is going the fetish way. Black power.
Awesome. Okay, so I worked somewhere before, and I saw a bit of this. I saw a bit of it, and I picked a lot of lessons. They were not things that were taught you. Nobody was going to sit you down to teach you, but if you have your eyes on ground, in Yoruba, literally speaking, then you will see the way things pan. You will find the need for you to understand your boss. It is part of politics. You can't be working with someone and you don't understand them. You don't understand their mood. You don't understand how they make decisions. You don't understand what influences their decision. This is how to play it clean. Getting understanding. But the one she just said has to do with backstabbing. Has to do with gossip mill. You know, when you're always going to give gist to the boss. You know, you're always wetting his ears. This is happening, and then you put yourself in that person's face. It's office politics. And then when you go fetish, you know, this has always to do with position. It's either you're positioning yourself physically or in somebody's mind, so that you have a top of the mind advantage. Yeah. So when they want to take decisions, or they just feel somehow that this guy is loyal to me, you play the loyalty game. But maybe you are doing it with hypocrisy. That makes it the bad or the dirty politics that we're saying. But for the clean one, I have a quote that I put there. Dorcas, let's have that quote that I put there, and then I'll read the other one by Steve Jobs. I love quotes a lot. They help us understand things better.
Yes, this quote is by yours truly, Olusola-Obasa. And it says, the cleanest office politics you can play is to be great at what you do and publicize it to whom it may concern. It is very effective.
Ben, read it again. That
the cleanest office politics you can play is to be great at what you do and publicize it to whom it may concern. It is very effective.
Now, Mr. Ogureni, there are people who are church people like me. Because they will not do hanky-panky, they are good at what they do, but they don't publicize it. They are not playing office politics. To whom it may concern, let them know. Like, show your proofs. When you are doing reporting, talk about the values you bring on board. Do it deliberately. If you don't beat your own drum loud and clear enough, nobody will do it for you. And then make sure that those who are concerned are hearing. It's very, very effective. But I have another quote that we'll read at the end. It's not a quote actually, but let's hear Steve Jobs on office politics. He said, in weak companies, politics win. His word is, in strong companies, the best ideas do. Steve Jobs. In weak companies, politics win. In strong companies, the best ideas do. What do you think he's saying? How is it different from what we read earlier?
Yeah, I think I understand that. If you look at, for example, the Nigerian civil service system, is actually a very weak structure, and that's where you see politics play out every single time.
Oh loud.
Right? In a let's say a tech startup now, it's always about the idea. You cannot hide under the shadow of politics. The fact that, like, I was saying something yesterday with my boss, that you can be feeding your boss with a whole lot of gossips, but you see, when you are not useful in the job, you eventually be thrown out. Right? So irrespective.
So you're already hearing the feedbacks.
So there's no way you must first be good at what you do. You must first be that very, very good guy, the one who brings the idea, the one who implements. Then you bring politics as a second hand, because if you are just going to be dropping ideas, of course you are going to be noticed. But when it really matters, they want to travel out, they want to do this, they want to do that, they will not call you. You just bring idea when it's needed. So I feel that's what he's trying to say, right? In the best companies, ideas will basically win.
Ideas win. But is he saying that he doesn't understand the place of politics? Politics in the workplace, the way we are looking at it, will be something that all of us need to learn. So the cleanest of office politics you would ever play, as we all agree right now, is that you should be great at what you do and me I add publicize it. Don't be shy. Some people say I don't need to talk about what I'm doing. My work will speak for itself.
Speak for your work.
Speak for your work.
Yeah.
Speak for your work and it will speak for itself. It is very effective. So backstabbing your colleague is wrong. Going the romance way, I saw a number of that too, where I worked before. It was coded, it was under G. Well, it happened. People climbed, you know, they climbed, they scaled. Yes, they scaled based on it. It worked. It worked. But we'll see where the minus of it is. Then blackmailing is also wrong. Don't blackmail a colleague or run the rumor mill or join them to do rumor mill. Everything has a downside. That's why we're saying don't. Then forming malicious alliances against other colleagues, hypocrisy, eye service. Ishe carry me. I'm on Yoruba frequency. Have you noticed? And it's deep. They are this rain is good.
Okay, Yoruba rain.
Yeah. You know. Then going the black power way. I think there is something about someone that I used to know when we worked. Every time he got into the office, he changed the seat where he sat. Every time. And I felt for him because I thought that must be that he also doesn't trust the people in the environment. Every time, when I say every time, I mean every day. Every day. He will change the seat because it was a shared office. Once he got inside, he will carry the chair where he worked yesterday and bring another one from the far end of the hall. Every day. I mean, that should tell us that maybe he has some fears around that. And the truth is that yes, black power and fetishness is a reality. So, some lessons that we need to live with. What will be I believe you already said something, that you should be the best at what you do. That one should be non-negotiable. Then there's something else you mentioned that was really, really germane for me. I'm struggling to catch up with it now. But while you think of something else that you think you want to leave with the audience, they should never miss the fact that we have said today that there's politics everywhere. So come off all those innocence. And if you're a church girl like me and you're being churchy around, once you hear politics, God forbid, me, I know they play politics. You joke. You need to learn the clean one and learn how to play. Learn the rudiments, learn the ropes, because you might just need it. And one of the things we said is, in that my quote, I said, be great at what you do and publicize it. To whom it may concern. It's very effective. Those other ones too, we give you result. Oh, Mr. Oguremi, do you doubt it? Until the bridge get burnt. Okay. Then some of the things we want to leave you with is you can climb the ladder deploying competence and character. You can. And that's what Steve Jobs was saying. That's what Mr. Oguremi had said. Then being hypocritical is treating yourself. You know, when you do high service, it means that you're positioning yourself as what you are not. Like you were saying, if you have the hearing of your superior, well, it only lasts until he finds out that there's nothing, you are not offering anything. So you still go back to that dejection. Then the next one is never get desperate or see your job as your last bus stop. Do you know some people do it because they don't want to lose the job? They don't want to lose the job, so they play dirty to remain, or they play dirty to maintain a seat. It works even in African leadership, African governments all around the world. In Africa, forgive me, they call them sit tight.
Sit tight politics, yeah.
So they don't want to lose that seat. It begins from something little and grows to something as big as that. You are supposed to have left, but you don't want to leave. Then the next one is, you need to be team oriented. See yourself as a team player, not just an individual. Then the next one is build healthy working relationships. So if you keep cutting down your team members because you want to win, you might need them. My belief is that you might need them again. Relationship is currency. After all of you have left that job, I've left where I was working now, but I see people that I worked with most places where I go. We meet, we see on social media. It's a currency for me. I can easily call and say, oh, I'm doing this, or what do you think? There are people I still do business with today. So it's a currency, but if you cut them down because you wanted to retain that job, then you have lost that currency. You cannot ask it to pay you for anything. Then there's this one. When you play shortcuts, politics can be a shortcut. Office politics, it can actually be a shortcut. It can help you get there faster than you ever thought. And people were like, but boy, he just came, see his rise. Because you were always carrying the boss's file. Is it wrong to carry the boss's file? No. Some people think you're a stooge when you do that. It doesn't mean that you're a stooge. No, you can carry your boss's boss. You can carry, and you can do it with all of the. Have you ever done it? Have you ever found yourself? Do you serve like somebody who say Omoga or what's that word?
So,
officially. No, I'm even talking unofficially right now. Where you find yourself doing a lot more for your boss than the job required, going beyond call of duty to serve, and then people say things like, "He's looking for favor."
High service. That's what
Look,
we call high service.
But it's not high service, depending on intention.
Intention, yeah.
So, for those listening to us and watching us, always test your intention for doing something. That tells you on which side. So, what some people do is once they think that it is high service, they totally step back. I don't want to be seen as somebody who is playing high service. So, I don't help the boss with anything. I don't help the supervisor or the superior with anything. You're also wrong. You missed the thin line between the two. It's just a thin line, and that thin line can be measured based on intention. So if you have any doubt how to be sure on which side you are, just test your intention. And you know your intention is intention, the tension inside you. Test the tension and know whether it's high or low, whether it's right or wrong. Then the final one on this note. So when you take the shortcut of dirty office politics, it's a shortcut, but it will cut you short. You were saying it now that until, you know, you said something like that, it will work until something else happens. So if you decide to do the dirty politics shortcut in the workplace, it will eventually cut you short. Then I have a final note here. Playing clean office politics. These are my words now. Playing clean office politics gives you a better result. Wait. Maybe at a slower pace because it will follow a process. Howbeit, it leaves you with no scars to nurse. So make your choice. Make your choice. No scars. There are scars to nurse with dirty politics. So you can lose friendship.
Step on people's toes.
You can step on people's toes. You can create bitterness. You can
at times
lose your brand,
lose your life.
You can even lose your life.
That's it. You can lose your life. That's office politics. People kill themselves because they are trying to just retain where money is coming from in the office.
And money is a factor.
Money is always,
So the thing about clean office politics, maybe all of the people listening to us should do a little more research. Personally, you must play politics. You must have your boss's hearing. Forget it. God looks inside. Your boss looks outwardly. So if you are not showing anything, there's nothing to base you on. See, people, when I see people just jump on one side, I tell balance is always the thing to look out for here. So yes, there's nothing wrong with office policy, but play it clean. And we don't have all the time to talk about the details. Dorcas, do you want to? Are you fine?
I'm better.
You're cool?
Yes.
You can talk?
Yes.
Okay. So she's going to leave us with some character traits drawn that will help us know what assignment we should go and do based on the topic we have discussed today. It's been Mind Your Character, and today we've talked about what's wrong with playing office politics. Answer: nothing is wrong. Howbeit, make sure you play it clean. Stay away from the dirty one. The clean one may go through its process, but it will give you a better result, and there will be no scars to nurse. The other one will be faster, but might leave you with more than scars. You may not even be there to nurse any scars. If it's voodoo, they go the voodoo way for you. Well, you go and be reporting yourself to Baba God on the other side. Okay. Yes, so Dorcas.
So yes, I have 3 character traits from conversation we've been having on the show today. The first one is diligence. diligence, and that is being committed to your assignments at your job. Always put in your 100% in what you do. The second one is excellence. Excellence. When you are doing good, keep it up. Do not stop. Continue putting effort and make sure it is still 100. Then the last one is loyalty. Loyalty.
Very important.
Understand and respect powers and authorities that be.
Yes, so
Yes.
respect.
Respect.
Respect it even when they are not calling for it. It's very important. On the day when decisions are made, they will say, that guy is good, but it looks like he doesn't belong to anybody.
Yeah.
Do you know that's how they decide against some people's fortune? You enter the workplace, you do your job, you go out. You don't party. Nobody is a friend, nobody is an enemy. You are just flat. In the name of I do my job, I do my job. The day they are looking for that emotional intelligence and it's missing, they don't know whether you are for or against. Then, what do? It reminds the character I've enjoyed today. This man has to come back. He has to come back. Okay, so we'd like to do a bit of marketing before we go. Don't forget that this show was brought to you by Red Eye and RCV. Red Eye Studios, owned by Rush Tower. I hope I pronounce it well.
Rush Towers.
With S. There are many. Rush Towers. Let me not call the towers. Rush Towers is into a whole lot of support services and value-oriented provisions, ranging from photography, cinematography, lighting, sound engineering. I never knew that sound is engineering until I knew. Then media coverage, live recording. And this script does not have the one that I like. Drone piloting. Now if I cannot fly a plane, let me be able to fly a drone. Flying is what is important. So you want to learn how to do all of those, or you need services around them to be rendered to you. All sides are covered. Please call 090-6969-6248. 090-6969-6248. That's the hotline that gets you right in there talking with someone at Red Eye, and our prizes will never tear your pocket. Shikini money, your job is done, and we bring excellence to bear as well. And you want training, so you don't want studio things, you don't want the training of all of those things. You want character development training, whether you're a corporation or you're individual. Just dial 081-061-20819. That is the hotline for RCB training, consulting, or you even want to advertise on this show. We are open. You want all of us to brand ourselves as your brand,
Yes,
and talk about what you do. You want to be here with us, we are willing to have you do that. Follow us on all our social media handles. Basically, Mind Your Character, Facebook and YouTube. So long. Go and play office politics. Play it clean.
We have some
Well,
comments.
Oh, we have comments.
You too.
Scenes. Should have caught me. Should have caught him now.
Yes, we have 3 from Olusola-Obasa.
Chai. 3 comments.
3 comments
Yeah,
from
no.
her. She
She's
says,
vexing.
hello everyone, you all look great.
Hello.
And there was a time she said absolutely there was a trust issue. I'm sure that was a character
Oh.
part of the show.
She likes
Then
this.
she dropped on everyone that is very thick and heavy.
Eh.
For Mr. Kole here.
Oh yeah.
She said, Mr.
Someone is on your
Kole,
watch.
forgive us, oh, we are not ready for you. Do you understand?
No, even me.
All the strong points that you have been trying
They
to
didn't have
make,
viral.
they are not. She said they are not ready.
So you
Have
call them
mercy on
nappy.
us, yes.
It's recorded so they can watch
Have
TV.
mercy on
Yes,
us.
oh.
There's also another comment from Mrs. Monyoluwa-Olutayo.
Oh,
She
surprise.
joined us on Instagram, and it says power tussle.
Mm.
That was all. That's her comment. She just said power tussle.
I'm a lot decoding.
And yes, we also clocked 3 months. So I was reminded to
Oh my
mention it.
God.
This has been on for 3
See,
months.
this experiment has been on for 3 months.
Yes.
I want to clap. Awesome. See, if you have never tried anything, you will not appreciate what those who try things go through.
Yeah.
And when I hear people say, destroy it, we don't care, that's somebody who has never built anything. If you have ever strained and sweated to build anything, you are not the person saying destroy Nigeria. If you have invested a lot anywhere, you would rather Jojo than war.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're so glad it will get better.
Yes.
Forgive us for whatever skirmishes you have seen weeks past. We are only getting better. It's our baby steps.
Yes.
Don't worry. This show, let me leave it there. When the matter is too big, you just leave it there. Alright, thank you so much. For those who have not missed any of the episodes or editions now of this show, ever since we started on February 4th, I remember, we're so glad. We're so grateful. Thank you so much for spending your data. And if you're catching up with it when we are not live and it's there for you, please have the best of time. What's important to us is you're taking change moves as a result of what you're learning. So go and tidy up the loose ends around office politics. Play clean, never play dirty, or you have plenty to clean up after yourself. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Gurem. You are looking forward to having you again. You're not acting like you're a gent to somebody. Not sitting down like they try to kick camera and crow at you. Okay, so then thank you, Dorcas. So nice to have you.